Hey Most Amazing Top 10 family, I'm your host Chaderain and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. You would think that the most major broadcasting studios have their signals on lockdown and no one can get into them, but you would be very wrong. There's been several occasions where signals have been hacked or hijacked, and some of the messaging that has come through has been a little bit questionable. But there's also been times when it's just been disgruntled employees who have been able to sneak through and get into these programming signals and make the programming a mess for their bosses. We are going to look into all these stories and then some with today's list of top 10 scary TV interruptions. As always, I would love it if you could like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Also, stick around for the whole list because I'm going to be doing some more pet shoutouts, which you guys love so much. Remember, if you want me to shout out your pet, you just have to hit me up on Instagram. And without taking any longer, let's get into this list. At number 10, we have Max Headroom. If you were in Chicago in 1987, then you probably saw one of the craziest things that has ever been on TV. It was so nuts because it made absolutely no sense and nothing was explained. It just popped up for 90 seconds and it took over the city and then it was gone. It was kind of like having a robber come into your home, steal nothing, but then throw syrup in your face and then leave. And you're just sitting there like, what just happened? Let's have a look at this clip. That is what people were watching for 90 seconds in the middle of an episode of Doctor Who. The worst part is back then you couldn't rewind TV, so a bunch of people at home were probably like, that was weird, but what happened to those 90 seconds of Doctor Who? I gotta wait until they play the episode again. And it got even weirder than what I showed you. At one point that masked figure got up, pulled down his pants, got on a chair, and then this lady in a French maid's costume came up and started spanking him with a fly swatter. It's just so weird. There's no answers and we never know who did it. Like, they never caught the guy, so it's just sitting there in the ether and everyone was confused. At number 9, we have Loony Larry. You thought the only time kids would be safe was while they're watching cartoons. It turns out kids are never safe, thanks global warming. But there was a broadcast that was hacked in Wisconsin. A bunch of kids were just hanging out watching SpongeBob. Well, if it was SpongeBob, it was probably a bunch of kids and some college students as well. But out of nowhere, the show was switched to this dude who called himself Loony Larry.
Hi, this is Loony Larry. Welcome to my show, and
The clip goes on like that and Larry does some pretty strange stuff like breaking SpongeBob records in this creepy basement and saying some pretty controversial things that I won't repeat here. At number 8, we have Disney Channel porn. This story is so cliche it almost seems like it would never happen outside of a movie, but here we are. There was one sunny morning where a bunch of kids were sitting around watching the Disney Channel, probably while their parents were getting stuff ready so they could go to school. And then some hardcore porn got laid over the broadcast. It was 2007 in New Jersey, and a bunch of kids who were watching a show called Handy Manny stopped seeing a young boy living out his dreams of carpentry and instead saw something that is only saved for mommies and daddies who love each other. Comcast was the cable network that caused the mix-up, but they never said why they screwed up so royally. They just used the Shaggy method and said, it wasn't me. At number 7, we have Fight for Freedom. Not all the TV interruptions have to be perverted or weird to be scary. Some of them can be totally for a good cause, but they will scare the crap out of you because you have no idea what that means for your country, and it could mean that it's time for a revolution, and revolutions are always terrifying because people will just start dying. In the city of Torun in Poland, a broadcast got stolen in 1985. Why? Because 4 very important people in the Polish science community had a message for the people. They wanted everyone to boycott the upcoming election. They were tired of how the government had been taking from the people and demanded that the people rise up against them. The police were able to trace the signal back to these 4 men, but because of civil unrest and fear of a revolution, they didn't arrest them but only fined them. Yeah, public officials start to be real nice when the walls are closing in on them. At number 6, we have a porn reversal. I don't know if you guys remember Playboy television or even Playboy, but back in the day people used to have to watch porn on TV. You didn't get to search everything based on very specific perversions that you have deep inside your brain. No, you had to sit down and watch the Playboy channel or another channel like that, and it would be porn all day long. And one day in 1987 there was a broadcast that got interrupted by a bunch of scary texts. It said, "Thus saith the Lord thy God, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand." Yes, it was religious text. See, it's not just porn that can interrupt something wholesome. You can also interrupt porn with something pure, and it's totally jarring. The police eventually tracked this guy down, and this wasn't the only time he had done something like this. And this was all pre-internet era. This guy probably is disgusted by the way the world is now. If you can handle the Playboy channel, woo! At number 5, we have C-SPAN meets Russia. A lot of people tune into C-SPAN to get their daily dose of news, and there was one day in 2017 when everything was going as normal. There was a bunch of people in suits talking about the budget and deficit and Congress, and then out of nowhere it stopped being about boring politics, and then it was just a boring Russian talk show. Everyone was like, what is happening? And this didn't just pop up for a few seconds and then disappear. It was on the screen for 10 minutes. That's a long time to have interference with a Russian signal. Now, why is this on a list of top 10 scary TV interruptions? Well, that's because a lot of people think this was Russia testing their ability to hijack American television signals, and it was extremely successful, if that's what it was. That means they could still be doing this, but not switching our programming, but grabbing our data. Stay away from my data, Russia. No one needs to know what my data is except for Instagram, so they can give me better ads. Yeah, I want the good ads. Discount Steam games and gaming accessories. See, that's how you get the good ones. At number 4, we have zombies. Sometimes you're just trying to watch some trash TV and then a zombie outbreak ruins everything. And if you don't watch trash TV, then I don't trust you, and you deserve to be eaten by zombies because you're up to something. I don't know what it is. Well, there was an episode of the Steve Wilkos show that was just being as trash as ever. Everyone around the world was just drinking it in and loving every second of watching people's lives fall apart, and then they got hit with some news that told them that their life was about to fall apart. Well, if you lived in Montana, you did. This following message started moving across the screen.
Civil authorities in your area have reported that the bodies of the dead are rising from their graves and attacking the living. Follow the message.
That is terrifying, and also you shouldn't do that to people. Not because it's going to scare them, but because someone is going to get really eager. Some people have been waiting their whole life for the apocalypse, and now they have the chance to go full apocalypse. You're just giving them false hope. Like, that's rude. At number 3, we have the old couple. The less context you have about something, the scarier it can be. Like if you got a text and it just said, "I'm going to kill you" from an unknown number, that's super scary. But if you get a text that says, "I'm gonna kill you," and it's from your roommate and used his toothbrush to clean the bathroom, then you're like, oh, okay, this totally makes sense. I don't have to freak out about this. I mean, I shouldn't go home, but I get why this is happening. Well, in 2007, ABC's signal was hijacked, and all that was thrown up on the screen was the face of 2 old people staring back at the viewer. Then it was gone. There has never been a hint as to what this could have been or where it came from. ABC said it was a small mistake, but they have worked effortlessly to get every picture and every video removed from everything. You can't find these videos on YouTube or anywhere. It seems like this has been a major cover-up, but the biggest question is why? Why the hell would you cover this up if it was something so small? At number 2, we have threats against the Hezbollah. In 2006, the Israel-Lebanon war was reaching new heights. As the old saying goes, all is fair in love and war. Israel wanted to find more ways to attack Lebanon outside of just explosives and bullets. The Hezbollah was a group that was very much the spearhead in the war against Israel, and they had a television channel known as Al-Manar TV. This is how a lot of people in Lebanon would get political information and updates on the war. Well, Israel found a way to hijack this signal and send a very threatening signal to all the people in Lebanon. They showed the leader of the Hezbollah with a crosshair over his face and the message, "Your time will come." If you're at home watching that channel for the news and then you see this would be so terrifying. You wouldn't be able to fall asleep after that. And for our number 1 spot, we have Christine Chubbuck. One of the most shocking things to ever happen on television. It changed news, it changed broadcasting, and it changed the world. Christine Chubbuck was a news anchor, and her life wasn't moving exactly as she wanted. She was constantly battling against the different parts of her life. She wanted to bring interesting, wholesome news stories into the news, but that's not what got views. It was salacious death and terror that people wanted to watch, so her bosses were pushing her to find those kinds of stories. Her love life wasn't exactly what she wanted either. It's believed that at 30 years old, Christine had never been physically intimate with anyone. With that plus a few other factors stacked on top of her, like her inability to have children, she was dipping into a very depressed state. Because of all this, on July 15th, 1974, she walked into the studio, started a live broadcast, and then committed suicide on live television. television. People originally thought it was a prank. It wasn't until the story was in newspapers that everyone knew it was real. Alright everyone, that has been our list, and as promised I'm going to be doing some more pet shoutouts. Remember, if you want me to shout out your pet, you can message me on Instagram. I pick new pets every day, so if you don't get picked one day, you can message back another day. If it takes me a little while to get back to you, I am very sorry. I have a lot of these to do, and without taking any longer, let's shout out some pets. First off, we got this shaggy looking dog named Chubbuck. Look at that hair, living up to the name, so good. Then we got Hades, who is way too cute to be the lord of the underworld. Oh my god, look at that face. After that, we have Harlow, Toby, and Paris. This is a team of doggos that looks absolutely amazing together. I love them. They have matching coats. Are you serious? Their coats match. That is so good. Next we have Peanut, who you can see by the cutometer is super cute because the meter is maxed out. Like there's no other explanation for this. He's clearly the cutest. Then we've got Savoir, who has the biggest smile ever. Oh, look at how excited he is for life. And to end off, we have Timmy, who's one of the biggest sweethearts ever. Look at those big old eyes. Obviously, just a nice picture done right there. Yeah, with the statue and all that stuff. The statue there and the cat. It's very tasteful. Alright everyone, that has been our list. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, I would love it if you could like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Until next time, I have been your host, Chade Arena, and be careful what you watch on TV.